It's a 13-1 on Haven, and you're not going to believe what side it went to. Sad they take that win in their map pick of Haven against Oxygen, the team that we had favored for this map, and we got to see a lot of things that we were not expecting at all. There was a Phoenix, there was an ISO on both sides, it was a double duelist composition coming through, it was an insane amount of kill contracts that it might be the record that we have in an official match of Valorant. It was an insane map, Sierra, and the way that it went of sad, I'm starting to believe that what Darkus said, I mean, he was being honest about being confident.
I mean, there's a reason to have some confidence when you're looking for SAD Esports, because despite the unorthodox, I think that's how I'm going to phrase it, comp coming out from Oxygen Esports, SAD Esports just looked really, really confident these plays going out together. These pushes that they had, this aggression, just the individual gunplay was really, really nice. This was a comp that we were curious if they were going to be running on the day with the ISO and with this deadlock, but really, really great deadlock utility coming out. That was kind of a little difficult for Oxygen to push through at some point. And you know what? Even if we didn't necessarily think that we would see the ISO Uber, I love that we got to see all these kill contracts. It was some good viewing.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, ISO's still very powerful when he enters a kill contract with double tap up. It's pretty hard to beat him, especially if your opponents don't have the right kind of weaponry. We've seen in the past he used to exploit operator players and a bunch of other stuff. But I mean, the post plants here I think tells us the whole story, right? Sad, yeah, less of those attacking side rounds because they did so well on defense. But when they hit a site, when they get into a site, they almost always convert the round, and that forced Oxygen to try to take some of these early fights, which is hard to do in numbers when the map is just so big and you don't have great ways of getting information. So really clean showing from them, showing us why they're a fearsome Haven team already, and now they've confirmed it up against one of the best teams in Challengers.
And it's crazy because we were also talking about, oh yeah, Oxygen, they're the standard team. They're not running anything crazy. That would be impossible, right? And they run with this double duelist that we got the chance to see, and they had some ideas, but honestly, I gotta say, what surprised me the most, it was that you're having Redux on this ISO that in paper should be good, but the way that Furbsat was winning so many of those 1v1s, it made Furbsat look amazing on the side of SAD and allowed them to take the win the way that you guys were mentioning. So for SAD, it's amazing when you have the firepower, you're running with this different composition. Yes, sure, they both have some close ideas when it came to the ISO and the way that they were initiating and taking the sites, but it's overall a SAD that catches them off guard. Oxygen, they tried to recover Sierra and they can't make it.
I just have to say first, I want to see more Dapper on Phoenix because I thought that was a lot of fun, but for real, SAD Esports sticking with something that they know better, and Coburg was just the ultimate carry at some points, being able to just kind of stand at that back of C and just deny any entry coming out from Oxygen. Huge performance. We've been talking a lot about Herbs in the last couple of weeks, but being able to see the other members of SAD Esports really be able to pop off was just really, really nice. And it's something that Oxygen have to look kind of forward, they have to look out for going forward in the series, because SAD Esports, it kind of showed that they can't quite just be run over like that.
Look, I mean, and let's not forget that ace from Coburg. Unbelievable stuff. Just
amazing shots.
Yeah, very, very sick moment there from the best I've seen from Coburg in Challengers. So well-earned win.
Yeah.
We're going to see if they're able to continue this, because Oxygen, they've lost maps. Sure, they lost a map against Dark Zero, then they lost the second one. They couldn't win that series, but losing against SAD, I don't think that's part of their plans at all. And that's something that they're gonna have to do as they head into their map pick of Sunset. Try to figure out if they can come back from this. This map of Sunset Uber, though, does look really good for Oxygen. They won it against Dark Zero on that match that we just talked about, but I want to pay attention to what Verno is gonna be doing. We just saw Verno on the Sage on Haven, and now he's gonna be on the Breach, and Breach is a massive part of the success that we see from teams on Sunset.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge part of the interplay you see in the early part of the round, setting up trap plays, especially as an attacker, to try and punish an opponent's aggressive raise posting, get yourself into those sites. Very, very important, especially on the A site. You can kind of throw it out for free in a lot of cases as you move up. So I really think that Oxygen, There's no reason for them to lose this map. They've been so clean on Sunset in general. You know, they lost to Dark Zero, but they only allowed 4 rounds against them on Sunset, which is not a bad map for Dark Zero by any stretch of the imagination. And honestly, SAD have been solid on this map. They've had some good results. They played it a heck of a lot, but I think, geez, they've had 3 out of 4 of their games on Sunset for SAD have been overtimes. They've been very close, and that's against YFP, Core, and Blinn, I want to say. I think MXS, yeah, they beat them sort of cleanly 13-11 in regulation. So I'm expecting a map 3 to come up here. I feel like Oxygen are absolutely going to be in their wheelhouse now.
That's kind of the worry going on forward. That sure, Oxygen losing that Haven. It wasn't their map pick. And honestly, Oxygen could do, I think, kind of whatever they want on that first map and still have a really solid chance at winning this series. Sunset and Lotus have just looked so strong for them. And even though I think this should be competitive coming out from SAD Esports over on Sunset, I don't want to disrespect what we've gotten to see from them today or the last couple of weeks. You also cannot disrespect what kind of caliber of a team Oxygen Esports is on this map. And I think, yeah, this one might be a little bit trickier.
And I'm hesitating now because we saw that composition, the 2 compositions that were running on Haven. I'm wondering if there's going to be any change at all with the way that Oxygen has been playing on this map. I feel like part of their success as well is having Redux back into that comfort of the Raze. He's always been amazing on Raze, always been amazing on the Jet. That's where you see him the most. It was that map number 1 of Haven and where we saw him on the ISO. And it was a little bit inconsistent, had some great moments where you're going to want to go through the reliable. And of course, it's an Oxygen that's a lot more comfortable when it comes to the table, to the points, to winning those matches. They're already at the very top. But Sierra, you're still trying to get the win. You're still trying to be the best of your group and make sure that SAD is not going to take you down.
Hey, I mean, at this point, we should be able to see our players go back to their more usual roles, more usual agents. So this is something that should be pretty comfortable for them, that when you're looking at potentially losing that undefeated streak, I wouldn't be necessarily too worried yet.
I don't know. I'm starting to get worried. Let's jump into the Zippo Agent Select. Let's see if there's going to be anything different, if it's going to be more of the same that we've seen on the side of Oxygen. And the composition remains the same here. We go back to the standard. A pretty big contrast between that map 1 and map 2. But let's see if Zid can take this 2-0. Casters, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dan Dryad. Yes, second map of this series now. An Oxygen pick, and one where they've been pretty flawless on over the course of challenges. SAD would love to close this series out. They are currently at 2-3 over the course of, this stage. It was a rough start for them, but now seeing their performance here, there's a real chance that they can be a threat when it comes to our postseason, when it comes to our playoffs. They are within the top 8 right now, but only just a win here, Sierra, would do wonders for that confidence and also that comfort about, making sure you are qualifying for playoffs.
Being able to take down one of the top, if not the top team, would just show so much for how this team has been able to reform going into this. And it's definitely something that is a possibility here, but I'm eyeing up Oxygen. Sunset has looked so good, and when you have Verno and Mitch, these 2 initiators playing out, especially with Mitch on this KO, that could be something that is so just damaging. Being able to delay those pushes, being able to push on back, and having Dapper, who was already having a really good series in the last game despite bringing out this Phoenix, was having some really, really nice shots. I'm thinking of that 3K over on C. So having him back on this Cypher, I think this should be a really, really strong look from Oxygen just across the board.
Jumping in here to the pistol in just a moment. It'll be SAD Esports starting on that attacking side. We have Oxygen have left Dapper over towards this A side for the time being. Might see like an early phase. There should be some contact here through B lobby to start the round off. Maybe behind some of this util. Scuba can obviously paranoia to set something up. There's also the fault line that can be played off by Redux. Either way, probably going to get busy very early.
Goes it up towards this B site. Smoke towards the top of mid. That's just a little pokes around there. Not going to be too aggressive, though, to start things off. Just make a little bit of noise, get the information. I'm glad that they're rotating off. You can see post up, there's 3 members of Oxygen just waiting. And that's going to be cutting noise going around to this A site. They're going to have to play around the Cypher util at this point. And Dapper, as soon as they go towards this A short, we'll get the information that there should be a rotate to come.
That cam, though, for Dapper is not placed in the courtyard, so it doesn't see SAD move up into this position and into elbow. So Oxygen still don't quite know what is going on. I don't think the cam has seen the omen on the other side of things, and Mitch taking a ton of damage here through the boxes. already smoked to the back of the site to cut Oxygen out of A and start swarming all over it.
Util, sometimes if you just go the other way, that's going to fare you so well. And the plant down is a great start. Oxygen haven't lost a member yet, though. So they will be able to push back for a full 5 on this retake. And stuff like this KO knife to get this information and to suppress. It'd be so nice. Nothing gained from that time around, though. Oxygen, they're going to flood out the other way through steps. Nice little push towards the back of sight. That's going to be a lot of damage done as the trades come on through. But this delay is so nice.
Here come Oxygen, though, grouped up here trying to make... Oh my goodness! 3 kills for the Sova. We've caught him an extremely clutch player before. And a great time to, again, manifest that title in a round like this. 3 kills, of course, for the Sova. Sad, secure the pistol. Getting in onto the A site so early, a huge part of what paves the way to the end of the round.
I can't even believe how fast the scoreboard just lit up with Dip's kills as soon as that push came on by. Hey, if they're all running at you and you got that ghost out in hand, that's going to pay wonders. And that is going to be a phantom buy-up into this round now. That Esports already looking really good to be starting things off.
Revealing
Gonna play a smidge further back, though. Don't want to be giving a weapon up. And already a little push out from Oxygen. Base 1 to get that camera down through B.
Just the trip here for info for Sad on this extremity. With Ferbs are pretty passively holding the angle from tiles. This time, no like early pop from Sad to draw out util or to draw out rotations at B. They've been much slower in how they've approached it. But Oxygen's still scaling up here out of A. They've seen the trip now. But Ferbs is not in position to play off of it. He's headed back over towards mid, but Dapper might be able to crunch here. He sees the barrel of the gunner feed from Ferbs. The Scuba has to know he's on this corner. But look at that. He whips around, takes Mitch down, ends up trading his life up. Sad still with 4 now in the post plant on B.
That could have been absolutely everything, but Ferb's allowed to get 2 before falling is going to put Sad Esports in numbers for this round. Now set up for the post plant. And a lot of respect. You know the chirp is broken. So watching out through this main spot. Nade coming in, repositioned though. Not going to be able to capitalize off of it. Now Verno, 1v4. You're just looking to take someone down at this point. Try and take someone out with you. Get an ult orb or 2. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's really all there is to be done here. We'll see Verno hang around. Ideally perish to the blast. And then we'll move on to the next here. Pretty clean anti-eco for Sad. And they keep 2 of those big rifles coming out of this round. Business as usual here. Verno obviously wanted to go down to that for Sad. And we'll see them now coming to a pretty strong bonus.
Yeah, allowed to keep 4 weapons into that. And there wasn't even just a full buy-up across the board. Ferbs that died, but only had a ghost in possession. So not really actually losing out on a weapon into that. So the econ not looking bad whatsoever. That's gotta hurt too. When Dapper had that information on Ferbs that being there, being able to see the barrel and not capitalizing in time, watching 2 of your teammates go down to this ghost. The buy-up now coming out from Oxygen. You have full 1 across the board. Got to make sure that this aggression coming out was Sad, that they don't go down first. Great paranoia to slow it down, though.
The elbow goes Scan. I think that 0 point definitely garnered a bit of information here for Oxygen, and the rotator coming across. Mitch is going to set up here over at Link. For now, forced back by the pretty standard smoke. Scuba's playing inside this deep elbow smoke. I don't know if the crosshairs are set for this, but the Darkness are definitely expecting him to wrap around the outside of it. Pulls out. Scar now makes the swing on his own. Not punished for it, though. Able to take that duel straight up here. I don't know if Redux expected more than 1, but now the flood comes in for Sad. They're in and on the site. Losing dip there, though, hurts as you see Austin slow it down a little bit. Mitch tried to flash himself around the angle, but Darkest had the pre-fire. And now we're even in numbers. Still no plant, though, as Dapper and Verno are they're considering testing this, I think, fully. Or at least stopping, delaying this plant. But there's a wrap coming around. There is a flank. Covert got out of timing, but Verno is ready for it. Darkest throws out a flash, but at this point, he's just trying to get some points for effort. A wrap around here from Spawn wouldn't hurt, but Dapper is already posted up there. He's watching it. Verno also ready for it. Now across fire. Darkest with only 5 bullets in the chamber. Thinking about how to challenge this. Take some serious movement to win that out, and my good, it was close. Dapper down to 24. That could have gone either way.
A little too close for comfort there, but Oxygen is able to secure the round. You lost a lot of weapons in the meanwhile, though. And this execute just in general was just so back and forth. A little bit of awkward positioning, and the push from SAD Esports really being able to capitalize if you're not getting that kill in return. A lot of patience from Darkus in that end game. And Oxygen, they barely make it out. They'll be able to get enough of a buy going into this one, but can't really get the shields that they want. And SAD Esports, they'll be able to look a little bit better going into this. This is an aggressive push-up, though. Judge right away. Redux gets out. That's certainly a way to kick off the round.
Astounding that he gets away with that, Sierra. Able to double satchel his way out of elbow after taking a cheeky kill. And of course, cutting SAD down to size. Now again, Oxygen aren't sure. Are they still here? The Owl drone does come out. SAD want to try and clear the site. They do spot Redux tucked into the box. Not about it. That's one of the Rolling Thunder, which is thrown straight through the side here. Dip gonna capitalize instantly on the push. Verno from spawn able to hold his ground and his nerve, but Darkus eventually trades it out. And there is a timing from Scuba. There will be an info trip, I think, the further up he goes. So keep an eye on that.
Perfect agent in that situation. Get past the trip. They have no clue. This timing could be absolutely everything. Coburg, though, not going to be completely off the angle. Kind of keeping a little bit of an hold back. But not going to be winning out on that fight. Oxygen now with numbers, being able to push on through, but not for long. Dark is stepping up huge. The 1v1 at the end, it's going to be Ferbs that to close it out. These rounds have been so close, but this one's going to go the way of SAD.
That is a huge round to win there. Just as Oxygen thought, they might be starting to stabilize, maybe start to find some step to this Sunset defense side. Their economy once again gets completely reset. And they've got to figure this out. Dapper trying to caffeinate oneself. Got to respect it. Again, maybe more appropriate when he was on the Phoenix on that previous map here. But we are talking about a veteran player in the Sentinel role. Dapper needs to help his team find some success here. A lot of young guns on this roster. And this is going to be a frustrating start to the map for them in general. The retake protocols from Oxygen, just watching them on that A side, look pretty solid. They are, SAD obviously able to set up here, take fights from Spawn and from Link, but quite often it is coming down to these straight up duels. The Rolling Thunder in that previous round, though, was pretty instrumental.
Just even being able to push into that halls to have that positioning. The one thing about the Cypher is you can't necessarily watch everything. If you're posted up towards the other side at that point, well, there's nothing that can help you. And SAD Esports being able to get a little bit of positioning and kind of just set up to be able to then start going for the execute has been good. And they have the shooting capabilities to back it up. That being said, these rounds have been really, really close. All it takes is one kill going the opposite way to really be kind of changing things up. And I think that for Oxygen, even after this time out, is something you can take just a little bit of solace in. A lot of util already posted up towards this A site. Also eyeing up. This could be a huge aftershock going on through.
That fault line could completely ruin Oxygen. It gets thrown out. SAD, I think, have a one way to deal with here, so they don't really challenge that into playing off of the fault line. It's just the Sova there to clear with an outro. Should at least have seen two there, and in the meantime, SAD have taken full control of the middle part of the map. They're really trying to avoid walking into a pistol stack here, so they're going to have to be meticulous in terms of how they assess Oxygen's positioning.
A little bit of a backup, though. They got a lot of space in there. That's some nice little damage into Mitch, hiding into the smoke. They've tested A a little, they tested this mid, and now with the noise being cut, push towards the B. Camera broken, that's gonna be the fast rotation coming out from Oxygen, but at this point, SAD can push out onto the site, Skarn can push on forward, and when you have these better weapons, Oxygen will be hard posted to try and push on through. Hunter's Fury coming out from Dip as well, even more so Oxygen just scattering on the other end of things.
Decent info from Dip and a lot of damage on these lightly armored players from Oxygen. They were grouped up in towards Market. Looked like they wanted to make a game of it now. They'll disperse a little more. Might try and split this two from Market, three from Boba, but already they're getting cut down. Here comes Scuba and Dapper trying to swing through, and they're getting absolutely nothing for this. Not a thing. They're trying to stand and fight, but instead they just feed themselves to the machine. SAD Esports have turned out to be in this series.
Who said this wouldn't be fun?
Already on 4, I believe this was roughly like the total amount of rounds that Oxygen let Xerxio get on them last time we saw Oxygen face off on Sunset. But SAD Esports giving Oxygen a run for their money in this series. We got to see it on Haven, and we're seeing it again. Oxygen Esports, that was just their save though, and going into this round, they're not just gonna have the rifles, but look at the ultimate. 4 across the board, and Verno's 1 away from that Rolling Thunder. This could be fantastic for a retake, or even just delay. Camera is gonna spot a little bit of information, but again, with this little push up towards mid.
Mitch here just holding that corner. Nice little flash, but no great opportunity to play off of it. 4 ults up here for Oxygen. No real chance to use them either. Sad have really not been about that B side outside of that previous round in this map so far. But again, with that mid control, they can convert that into some market presence, and that might be exactly what Oxygen are concerned about. Scuba holds the paranoia. Dapper in a position to capitalize. He's not going to have advanced warning of this, though. He needs to take the fight. Okay, able to win it out against Scar. That's paranoia, but it comes in a little bit too late for Dapper to get more than one. But Scuba makes up for it. Coburg and Dip taken down. The fault line, yes, will force him off the angle, but Mitch is here to recover. And it's all up to Ferbsy, who was pinged out there by the 0 point. Not much left to do here.
I love that buddy system coming out from Oxygen. You peek one, all of a sudden you're going to get absolutely dumped by the other around the corner. Ferbs in an impossible situation. The push up through upper mid is just going to be taking him down. And Oxygen finding themselves with another on the board. They didn't have to use any of their ults. Verno wasn't able to get his, so we won't have a clean sweep across the board. But still, just this play, the utility as well. Sure, Dapper went down, but he got his 1 kill, and then being able to get traded by his teammate for not 1, but 2 more. Fantastic. I think that might be the last time we see a little bit of a mid-push coming out from VCT Esports for a little bit. Going back towards this A site that's worked quite well for them in the past.
Again, they'll be forced to test this one way over at A if they want to take any early position. And again, it'll be the same. They back up, respect it. We'll probably see an owl drone deployed after the fact. They're really up mid. They want to test this top mid presence. A little awkward there for Scar, and Satchel kind of pops himself back up in the air. So it takes a ton of damage and has to back off. Now that mid control has to manifest in an advantage on one of these sites. Sad haven't been able to do anything to pressure A with it. Inverno holds it down on A long. Now it's getting dangerous for Sad. Scar is very, very low still.
Cover going out.
Inverno completely unbothered. The renewal of the one-way. Scuba shoulder peeking to C3. Oxygen are playing with house money now. And house always wins.
The flash around the corner, the peak. Darkest by his lonesome, and not a single member of Oxygen has been lost. Dapper holding the corner too. Darkest nowhere to run. What a round coming out. VCT Esports, again, trying to push this mid. Try and see if there's any space that can be gained. But as they push up towards that mid, they lose all of that positioning around A. And being able to push up so far. Oxygen, again, perfect buddy system. One gets tagged, backs up, Scuba peaks, profit. So nice. And even just the flash around the corner afterwards to get aggressive. Oxygen, they're starting to figure this out a little bit more. And it's starting to look stronger and stronger. This team play, this is something we got to see last time from on Sunset. And I'm glad we're starting to see it a little bit now. This is going to be the push towards B. Redux ult. Not good for any, though. There we go.
How does he get away with that? Coburg TPing on top of the kiosk there. They're finally able to bring this madness to an end, but again, it comes at the cost of 2 players for Sad. It's an odd trip placement there for Dip, to be fair, and he does set it off. That's info for Dapper. Cam is not set up to see deep inside B lobby. But Mitch is there to cover it as Ferbs made a swing, and Sad are just going to say, you know what? Let's just get this done. Let's just push out here and try and make something happen. It's Darkest versus 4. Was able to recover the Vandal at the very least. And that is that. Scuba shuts him down, and all of a sudden, we have a tied game.
Okay, Oxygen. I see your plan. I see your plan. I love that aggression coming out towards that B side. They get that little bit of information. We got it. All right, VCT Esports timeout. We got a little flick of the graphics there, but being able to get that information, all of a sudden, right away popping that ult. Even if you didn't get the kill, Redux able to follow it through after with that double, almost gifted to him at that point. And then already so damaged, you try and push out onto the site, and Oxygen, they've already pushed on through. I love this aggression that Oxygen has had over on the defense, whether it was that push 2 rounds ago out towards the B side, this A push now. They're not really giving SAD Esports any space. I think the only space that I've seen them really give up the last couple of rounds has been more of that midsection, which SAD Esports hasn't been able to capitalize off of, because as soon as they start pushing towards the site, well, Oxygen just take them down one by one.
It's also Sunset for you. Like, having that mid control doesn't guarantee you, easy access to a side. It's not easy to split sides on Sunset in general, especially the A side. You need to control mid and then top mid, which is often where Oxygen is setting up here. Sad notice because they're trying to fault line like the top mid near A link to try and get an advantage here over the defenders, but it doesn't work. So, Oxygen are confident enough giving up that part of the map, really just focusing on those two sites, making it hard to just rush in and try and get as much info as they can, with or without the use of mid.
Coming off this timeout, 4 ultimates on the side of each team here. I think we're about to see an absolutely chaotic round. Right away, going to be pushing. Try and make sure you can throw the nades to clear out the angles as we're going to be kicking things off. That's going to be Showstopper. Rolling Thunder push on into sight. Herb's trying to hold it down over in mid. Try and get that little bit of positioning there, but Oxygen have been so good in holding it down. And Sad get the site, but any push out further is going to go awry. Rolling Thunder now in return for popping all of the ults, and Oxygen looking better off in this trade. Haven't lost a single member yet.
That was brutal. Skarn, his Showstopper got interrupted there entirely by the null command, of course, from the KO. Had to put that one away. And I've got to say, Oxygen here played retake before the plant. They just pushed back in behind that Rolling Thunder. It's a perfect round in terms of their, reactive ults. And there's really nothing Sad could have done about it. And this now is dire straits for Sad. They are not in a position to buy in that next round. And Dip and Coburg have to get out of here with these weapons. Dapper might have other plans, though. We also saw the neural theft earlier in the round, as evidenced by our bald Moroccan friend over there.
Love the hat toss off that one. Whoever thought of the idea, absolute genius. Push out toward A, just trying to find a little hidey hole. Try and save these guns going into the next. Get an ult orb too, one away from Hunter's Fury. So much ult investment.
10 seconds left.
From both teams in that last round, though. Dapper's going hunting. 2 around the corner, 1 low. He's gonna keep this. Gets the 1, gets the 2. Lose the round. You lose the rifles. Flawless for Oxygen on the back of SAD Esports timeout.
That's going to hurt. That hurts so much. Like you said, not being able to bring those 2 guns into the next round. A bit of a high-low setup that was completely deconstructed solo by Dapper there. Oxygen spent through a lot of their ultimates. You can see now just how many were made use of in that previous round. It's sad still have some to play with. We've seen Hunter's Fury already in this game from Dip. It was pretty effective. But again, it's the same issue. It might be a fast play to A here for Skarn if he can sort of get ahead of this one way. The rest can sort of disrespect it. Yeah, they're going straight up. It's very, very fast here for Skarn. Pushing on in. Mitch now going to try and pop flash out from Link, but Skarn's already there. Fault line, though. Thought it would give an advantage in that fight. Darkest, I think, caught on to Redux, but Mitch is there to save the day. Comes out of Blink, and now Sad are all grouped up towards Elbow. But not really many options to go.
Didn't have the greatest weaponry going into this. You're not going to get really much space either. The second you try and push out of halls, you're going to get absolutely domed by Redux on the other end. Got to make a move sooner rather than later. You don't want to keep these guns. You want to try and get something on the way out. But Oxygen just arming at this point. Furbza gets a nice little kill, but that's just a consolation prize for the round. Oxygen now even for the half.
Yeah, look, I mean, Sad, no choice that round but to try and make a fast play. I think, honestly, like, it'd be interesting to see if they can sort of do that on a round where they're able to buy up. We've really seen very limited pressure from them onto the A site. They are dissuaded entirely by that singular one-way that gets thrown down on that A-long corner by Scuba. It doesn't pay off for them there. Looks a little bit dicey, but the breach util is always a huge part of it. You saw fault lines connecting on, I think, 2 different players there that really skewed some of those duels.
At least going back into this round with the weapons, they have their 3 ultimates. The Oxygen's 1. That might be a little nice, but Oxygen are getting pushy again. We've seen this push before, and SAD Esports didn't really have too much of an answer for it. They got it back up now. Furbza falling back, gonna get tagged. This could be a huge round for SAD if they can take down these Lurker, but Dapper's gonna get greedy. He's gonna keep going through spawn.
He's managed to do this on the right timing too. He wants to wrap all the way around. There is going to be an info chip there at the back of the lobby, so eventually he will be halted. He's actually going to see this. Won't hear it for now. That's right. Dip and Skarner about to give him an option here. Beautiful one. A second would have been beautiful. Just the one now. That A side as a result of the push off of it by Dapper is held by no one. Oxygen grouped up towards top mid.
Now that'll be the utility. That'll be the ult to get onto site. Be able to clear it out. I'm gonna have a 4v4 on this post live in. Coburg is gonna be the first to be kicking it off. 30 seconds, Mike, not quite down. Instead, it's gonna be the kills as Oxygen again are gonna try and push on through, but this time it goes awry. Big step up from Coburg and from SAD Esports. What a funny little round of Valorant, but SAD Esports bringing it now within one, and one more opportunity to try and go even for the half themselves.
That's kind of the downside, I guess, of Dapper pushing off that side to try and go for a flank. Does find a kill. I'd say some information was gained there, but, you know, Oxygen looked like they were still hedging their bets late into the round with that group up here towards top mid. This is that wide push by Dapper. Quite a journey that he went on here. But in the meantime, that A hit comes in. Redux recovered really well as he dropped down here, but wasn't able to convert. Coburg is finding some incredible multi-kill scenarios today.
100%. Coburg has just been absolutely on fire. Ouch! The Redux with an op on the other end is going to be an easy spell, and to that. Looking towards this B site now, it's not something they've been pushing out for the most. But at this point, it's going to be the Cypher utility just a little bit more back. So they will be able to get on the first half of site. But Oxygen will have a quick collapse if they want to push that. SAD Esports wisely getting out.
So they still don't know much about the A side of the map here. And again, after that loss in mid, they can't really afford to get in there unless they're willing to re-clear it. With util, they'd much rather use for a push onto a site proper like A here. Cyber Cage is thrown up. The purpose of that is to defeat the one-way, essentially. So they can walk up through it. Double fault line coming out. Scuba somehow catches Darkest and is able to get out scot-free. Dip hopes to chase him with the Hunter's Fury, but Verno is hot skipping and jumping away. And Dip can only speculate as to where the defenders are set up. That's a Hunter's Fury going for nothing.
It will get information, though, knowing that this Halls might be a little bit more free as the push can go on through, but not much time left for SAD. 20 seconds on the clock. They have to do that push out, and Scuba's in such a good angle to take advantage. The second push zone is on through. Gets one. But the blast pack starting to get sight, but not much else. Oxygen re-collapses on him. Cutesy little team ace. Oxygen 7 on their defensive end.
Switching sides.
Yeah, pretty strong performance there for Oxygen. A couple of those, like, you know, hot and heavy fights on these sites, though, SAD still continue to look quite good. The fault line's instrumental, of course. That last round for SAD, they're really just sort of petering out as they lose a player early over towards A-Long. They never found success there. And the operator pickup of Redux, which is something we often look for, right? Especially on those jet maps. Even here, it definitely has value when taken over to those extremities. We'll now see Oxygen have a chance to attack. SAD have to hope that 5 rounds is enough.
And looking into this and just how strong Oxygen can be, I don't know if it is. Well, we go back to the game of this is going to be an important pistol to get this started off on the right foot. At Esports, the pistols have been pretty good on the day so far, though not flawless. Oxygen just making a little noise towards this A side, scoping it out, but look at that push coming out from B.
They're going to run into a trip here. But if anything, this is probably just going to speed Oxygen up a little.
Tripwire destroyed.
Herbs are back in spawn. Knows around onto the site so he can spam through that cyber cage. Decent damage, but takes a fair bit of his own. SAD might try and make a play here. The one through tiles and overload link might be the option.
Got a full 5v5 retake on this one. And a lot of utility, especially eyeing up Darkest here. Pushing Redux off that spot is going to be huge, and that's the nade itself in the corner. All right, that could be huge damage here on a pistol round. Everyone already so squishy. A little bit of suppression, a little bit of information. Flank denied, but trades coming on through as Oxygen try and hold on to this site. SAD have the advantage though, and Dapper around the corner doesn't quite have the angle. Dip holding Fuse taken down though. What? In a span of a second, Oxygen able to take down Diffuser, hold this on, and get the pistol.
That is wild. Great ghost work there from Dapper in the last few moments. They were able to defeat the flank that was coming through for Sad. And Oxygen end up converting on a pretty complex round. And again, in the same way that I think we saw them do this on Haven or maybe the first half of this Sunset map, they go for some Vandals pretty much straight away. Dapper and Verno investing after quite a busy first round here. Goes for Scuba and Mitch. Let's see exactly what they plan to do with those. As Dip does test B-Lobby briefly. A lone server at this site, though, for Sad. That's a little bit scary.
And they're about to be a no-sova on this site. As Dip backs up, and that's going to be Util and the fast push on. This is a free site for Oxygen. They're gonna get cozy here. Spike goes down instantly, and they don't have to overpush this at all. They have the better weapons. They don't need to get antsy. Make Sad Esports come to them.
All right, Bombardie thrown in behind the flash. Redark is he's definitely going to provoke some action there as the paint shells came in. Purpose was holding the line though, so he's able to take Redux out, but he only had a stinger in his hand. Those two Vandals are still safely in Oxygen's clutches. And they're unlikely to take any more undue risks in this round. Still a smoke available. Darkest obviously wants to try and get control of this back of sight, clear that close corner. They might try and push in for this, but Dapper has it lined up. He knows exactly where to spam. Skarn's going to run across the front of the smoke, but now there's no one on the defuse, and Skarn was caught out in the open. 9-5 here for Oxygen. Yeah, they're really getting comfortable now.
This is the Oxygen that I wanted to see heading into today's series. This just looks so much more confident. You lose one Stinger on the round for Redux to peek over at the angle, get his kill. That's all fine, but just how this team has been playing together has been really, really nice. Of course, that was the pistol and the buy-up. So going on into this Sad for this defense, this will be the first opportunity to get some proper weapons into their own hand and have a little bit more of a setup now. B was free last time. This is where Ferbza is going to make his home now. And Ferbza, even if today hasn't been necessarily the same numbers we've seen in the last couple weeks, such a strong player. Definitely someone capable of holding it down.
Fault line definitely affects Ferbza. A lot of pressure here, hit by the 0 point. Redux, though, not aware, I guess, of him being posted up on that pillar. This has gone pretty well for Sad so far, but they've got to convert. Our drone sees Verno extremely low. Pinged out as he tried to go for a plant and doesn't want to take the risk. Those shock darts would be lethal. The Darkest waits in the wings here. Aftershock thrown out. That does interrupt the plant to some degree. Verno eventually is going to have to stick it, though, now. And a lot of this relies on Dapper to play off of Verno. There'll be some bait, I think, in this round, and Skarn clears him up already.
This one all on Dapper. Holding out. They'll tap on the defuse. Bring him out. At Esports, if they play together, they should be able to have that little peek around. Miss shot, gets the one. Crosshair on the head of the second. It's going to be a little faster on the trigger now. Sad Esports are going to get their buy-up. Get another round here. And that was a nice little push on through.
Look, it was great anchoring from Ferbza, honestly. Got hit with, like, everything in the kitchen sink in terms of util, and still able to take down Redux, who doesn't really have his crosshair trained at the pillar, but more towards Boba, or maybe even mark it instead. So being able to, weather the storm, find a kill. Let's not forget, like, how long that plant was delayed, right? A lot of that util came in to make it really hard for Verno to put it down. Eventually he does, but he has to die to a paint shell in order to do so. That's how deadly all that util is when he's at 5 HP. Great job for Sad. I mean, this is definitely where they needed to put a stop to this Oxygen momentum. Because remember, the series is definitely still very much within their grasp. And having the scouts of, Oxygen and MXS under their belt would be huge.
They've definitely shown throughout today that they have the capability of doing it down in this game, but definitely not out. And this would just push it to a map 3. There's a lot of Valorant that they could play to try and stake their claim. A push up through Oxygen, up through halls. Gonna be backing up though, just making a lot of noise. Trying to get under Sad's skin just a little bit.
Deleted.
Nice little pick from Dapper through upper mid though.
Yeah, I guess there's the gap in that cage that can be exploited. Nicely done by Dapper.
I know exactly.
Neural theft available here. Yep, gonna pop that straight away. Oh, no, the Darkest is swinging this off the timing. Two heads go rolling instantly. Now the fault line gonna be thrown out. Ferbza can really start to pinch here. The Darkest gets caught. Maybe overheating a little bit on that push into market. Oxygen now have some time to breathe. They have an even scenario in terms of players, and it might be a late audible over towards A. But if they test top mid, Skarn is going to be waiting. Smoke comes out to obscure the angle.
30 seconds
Skarn is none the wiser.
Gotta know there's somebody lurking around. Someone. That's gonna be the confirmation. Pearl Theft to be committed. Mitch so low on HP already. Basically 2.5 members here. Other than that, pretty even on the retake. Verbs are gonna be lurking around. This could be nice for the angle. Only has the one side to be worried about, but Scuba has the upper hand. He's gonna be timing though. No! Shot right in the back. Now Sad Esports can continue to try and push on through. He's a little closer into the grasp, but they got the information. Great pentels to push back though.
That is such a huge kill. This spike is planted in an awkward location. I don't think Sad know or can be sure if there is anyone in Evo or not. Now they know. They see them both, and it doesn't matter. Last thing they see, in fact, before Redux puts one between their eyes. 3 for the Raze in that round, and Oxygen, well, they're back on smooth sailing.
I was definitely a little bit of a precarious spike plant position considering the positioning coming on out. But being able to double peek there. I mean, worst case, you're facing off like duo versus duo. Best case, you can't even see the other ones. And in that case, a little hidden behind the box. And you're going to have the number advantage in that fight. So really, really well done. Oxygen looking sharp at this point. And Mitch has ult too. Try and push out onto a site. Being able to shut down all the utility from Sad would be so nice. Not something that they have the luxury of, considering they opted for Sova for the initiator for this map.
All right, a lot of Cypher util over at the A side, but much of it has been left by Ferbser. Definitely concerns there for Sad about his Oxygen pressure towards top mid. Their late bit over towards A might prove quite fruitful for them here. Outside of the fact, of course, that Ferbs is going to be able to see it all from elbow. Far from committed, though. They've drawn these rotates out from Sad, who want to be on the stacked side. They might get their wish here, providing they stay put. Scouting out mid now, maybe looking to find a flank timing. But again, neither of these teams really know what the setup for the other's looking like. Skarn's about to find out in an unequivocal fashion. Got at least 2 there over towards B lobby. Now forced back after it deploys the paint shells, and into market go the defenders. Here they come.
A suppressed, blinded, the whole team pushing towards, being able to hide behind the box. Sad get a couple of picks, but Oxygen, they keep pushing on through. But wait a second.
Down B.
Sad, all of a sudden number advantage to push on through, but they've held strong. And Scuba Rifle and had too low, and somehow Sad pull that out. That was absolutely crazy. The power of friendship, whatnot, being able to have basically the stacked site, not straying off too far, and it's gonna work out so well. That one hurts a little bit for Oxygen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sad, that's exactly what they wanted, right? They wanted to be at the side, stacked in there, and make use of that numbers advantage, or at least just the fact the whole team was present. That's why we saw Febs pull off that A site right at the start of the round. Very fortuitous timing there for Sad. And it actually breaks the economy of Oxygen, who've been put under a lot of pressure, even in their winning rounds. So they're down to just a few pistols, 2 sheriffs, and a Vandal for Verno. Scuba got pinged out there by that recon.
Not gonna push on forward though. Smartly just gonna be backing up. As a little spread out. Upper hand, upper angle for Coburg. Gets one and gets out free. Already numbers advantage for Sad Esports. Is Oxygen just gonna be kind of flirting around all angles of the map? A little bit more of a presence over on A, but Spike still firmly outside of that B lobby.
Down here, it's gonna get busy. And yeah, works him down. Redux and Dapper laid to waste very, very quickly. At least the Vandal recovered by Scuba. With some mid control, had a smoke left over, so he throws that top mid, but that comes down. He still wins the fight against Dip, though. Not too bad. No reason not to go for it. Teleports into his own smoke. Opts not to go in the Boba direction, instead sets up in market. And Mitch has found his way in and onto the side. The angle for Ferb, a scary one to challenge. Scuba gets away with it, though. Cam going to be disabled there with a 0-point molly to force him off the corner. Scuba's going to be there to capitalize. There might be something here. Smoke over to Boba now. Still a flash available for the KO, and Scuba almost had a cross timing there. That would have been huge. but they'll get the plant at the very least. Here, though, a flood from Sad. They just want the round to be done now, and Ferbster puts it to bed himself.
That got a little close. Off of Scuba, that hit towards upper mid, and just being able to hold down and market for so long. But the second that all the util started to expire, and Sad Esports can kind of just group together and push out onto the site, they have the weapon. Scuba so low health. That's going to be a Ferbster that popping through the smoke. A nice little easy 2K. They can't cover all the angles. They're stretched a little thin on that one. Being able to just pull it out. Make sure the econ doesn't get too cozy. Going to this round, we're gonna have buy-ups across the board though. A lot of ultimates to spare. This one might get a little busy.
Shutting them down.
All right, off the rip here. It's actually a smoke towards the top of tiles here from Sad. Almost daring them to test it because they are watching this across the map with Darkest set up through market. He then shuts the door and goes about his day. That'll be broken very quickly. Info trip at top of mid as well. That's Sad. Well, actually, they're playing off of it here, so maybe hoping to capitalize in some way. And then a very safe Aldro spot step around here. Hunter's Fury pinged him. Trying to get away from it now, but it's the overload from Oxygen over on the A side. Scar not able to do much about the push this time around. Last round, he just mowed him down. And of course, the null command here to have the fast push over onto the A side. There's not much Turbo can do except sit and wait.
If there wants to be an attempt at the pushback from Sad Esports, it's not going to be with the help of their abilities or their utility, as everything's being thrown at them. Aftershock is going to push Covert out of position, and Oxygen already just looking so good. Only 2 left for Sad Esports to try and salvage anything, and it already looks like a little bit of a back up here. Just the 2. Yep, kind of pushing forward. But Oxygen looks so good at this position. Even if they get a pick or 2, I think that's all they could really try and hope for in this position.
Redux here with Showstopper available. Not necessary at a round like this. And I think Sad say, well, now that they know we're both stacked up on Link, it seems like a very unlikely scenario to win. We can buy next round, but there's just no point throwing good money after bad here. They're going to look to back away. And it's off that fast push here towards A-Long, which I want to point out is something that Sad didn't really go for. They got one way constantly at A-Long, just respected it, just sort of sat back. But Oxygen triple quad swinging that angle, taking down Skarn and moving straight on into the site. That's very decisive. And again, they have that 3-round buffer to work with.
It was so nice too that when Oxygen chooses to go towards its A site, they can pop that null command, and there's all of a sudden nothing that Sad Esports can really do to push Oxygen back, to try and delay a little bit. Unlike when Sad tried to push that on their own attacking end, and Oxygen, there's that fault line that they had coming out more so from mid. Okay, well, they have this one way that then all of a sudden making scared, just shaking in their boots. So being able to have that KO showing up huge in that round. This is going to be the timeout finally called for Sad Esports. This one's starting to get a little bit tricky because Oxygen, as you tell that they've had and how they're playing together, I don't even know where you start this off for Sad. I think when you're looking over at that B side and that hold from Ferbza, that was something that was going really, really nicely, but you can't force Oxygen necessarily towards that. And when Oxygen's getting these picks when they're starting to choose to be aggressive, you're always going to be down in these numbers.
There's a possibility that Sad can mix in some of this like proactive early round play, especially around the breach. Like get a decent fault line set up on the A side, you know, and then have Skarn play off of it or something like that, right? We see like the Gecko comps do this really well where they just cycle their Dizzy, throw it up from the A side, can spot people out, also, you know, can sort of flash them and allow you to go aggressive off of it. There's not a ton of that. Like they're pretty passively holding top mid, passively holding the A side. Here at least there's like a bit of a pop over towards B main. So hopefully this is fruitful for them. But again, we don't always see attackers like fully expose themselves here. Ferb's just hanging around though. He wants a bit of this early action, and it ends up being a great trade. Skarn's going to try and get out, but the showstopper will be in hot pursuit. He is able to get away from it though. Takes a bit of damage, but keeps his head.
Ferbza going down first there. Has to hurt so much in the round. And Oxygen get essentially a free sight after that. And Redux posted up in such an aggressive position. Sad throwing a lot of util back, but with the paint shells, everything else, Redux can delay just a little bit. And even gets out. actually crazy. Getting everything thrown at him as to pull up the shorty. I almost thought he was about to get away with that for a second, but here comes the flood back onto site.
Oxygen need to slow it down a bit. Sad now, able to flood over into the B site. They test the spike. Gun just contacts raw through the smoke. And Oxygen in these post plants they don't hit. Very, very confident to sit back and play from B lobby. And again, it's going to be tough from Sad. They're running out of opportunities to find ways to break that post plant setup.
That pick onto Ferbza right away into the round. You got the information, but you're down a member, and Ferbza has been so good in holding down the B site when he's playing maybe more so from the back of it. So Oxygen being able to flood from that point. VCT Esports, that was a nice attempt at push back, but as soon as Oxygen gets set up and have that B main control, it essentially seems impossible. VCT Esports, this is now match point for Oxygen. See what they can kind of salvage together now, but the guns don't look the greatest and most inspiring on their end.
Again, the early play towards B lobby. This time being read by Oxygen. They don't run straight into it. Instead, they wait for it. Make a bit of a concave and punish Sad. Something I discussed, right, was that early round proactivity here, but it doesn't take long for Oxygen to get the download on that and find a way to play around it pretty safely.
Oxygen down. So much momentum in the round. Coburg's gonna catch out that there's somebody lurking around the bottom of mid. Oxygen don't have to contest it, but damn, they are going to. Redux gets two. It's gonna be utility pushed on out. Why not? Let's get a little silly with it. Now the push out onto B. Okay.
Yeah, this one about wraps it up, Sierra. Ferbza, who's looked amazing on the Cypher, even on this map especially, has struggled here, along with the rest of Sad, to slow Oxygen down remotely enough. Your 13-8 scoreline at the end of the game here. As Oxygen are going to take us to a map 3, ending on a flawless. We expect no less from their Sunset. I think they're now 4-0 here in stage 2 on that map. It's always a scary one to see come into the pool, and a great way to recover, to reset after what went down on Haven.
Yeah, the second that you can get over to that Sunset, the map you've looked so good on, that's where you can start to remember, oh wait, yeah, this is supposed to be an Oxygen favored series. This is an Oxygen that looks really, really good. Even with the first half of things, that VCT Esports did give them a little bit of a run for their money, but as soon as Oxygen gets comfy, they weren't giving up that map. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're very adept with making use of that breach composition when they're not rolling thundering mid for one player, but by that point, Oxygen have basically secured things. So congrats to them. We're going to be back after the break with our third map in this series, a decider between Oxygen and VCT Esports.
face.